Hey everyone, let's quickly go through the daily board from May 31st, 2020. So this board is interesting in that it kind of felt designed. It felt like there is a correct approach, and if you choose that, everything becomes just easy and enjoyable. But if you go any other direction, then it's going to be hard and awkward, and you're just going to get scores which are double the world record. So let's go through this. Again, let's start with a naive solution. Immediately at least when I started playing the board, I noticed this combination right here. So hey, 11s and 14s, can I do something here? Well, here's the sort of brute force way to do that. Not very elegant, but hey, you get to these and maybe even remove the 3s. Of course, you can remove these 4 blocks. So here you have the 12s, so maybe do something like, I don't know, this, for example. Aha, that's interesting. But after this, everything feels a little bit awkward. You have these blocks, 314 blocks, have the 13s and here, and you're thinking, okay, maybe I should do something like this, and then I can match these two, but here the situation is a little bit awkward. If you do an 8, there's nothing here, or you maybe do that, but now you're blocking these, so it's like, so I felt like that's not how I want to do this. And eventually, and I would get like something like 30 plus 33, something like that. So here's what eventually I came up with. So remove these 4, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to let this combination go. I'm not going to worry about this cross. And I'm also going to leave the 15s untouched. I'm not going to try to match them with 14 or something, because they're not in the way of anything, so we can leave them till the end game. So what do we have here? Well, this seems to be a very obvious thing to do. And then what I noticed was this. Somehow I didn't notice it until much later playing through the game. And so, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. We have only 2, so how can we get rid of 2? And this is where we go here, right? We have 9, 9, and an 8. And with this one move, we unlock several pairs at once. Look at that. This is really enjoyable. And of course, this. So this is great. Now, here we have this vertical that caught my attention, so I went with this. So we have 14s removed, and now we're pretty much in the end game phase. So this is where I arrived at, and when I just played this through the first time, I actually did it correctly, but when I was replaying it to get the score again, I struggled here a bit because I have 15, 15, 14, 14, 11, 11, but then I have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So what do I do here? And sort of my intuition when I was rethinking it was, oh, I have to do something like this. And then, of course, you remove the blocks that are paired, and then you are doing this. But hey, now this is 21, 16, and 5. This is not what we want. We had 19, so in reality, of course, the solution is to do this. Remove these blocks, match the 7s, and you get your 19. And so this is a very fun board. And again, as I started with this narrative, the idea for me for this analysis was, wow, this looks like a designed board, as if somebody really wanted you to go that direction. That is until I actually looked at the solution, because I was not the first one to get 19, and the solution was actually very different. Let's take a look. So, of course, the same start. This is also very similar, but this is where it ends, the similarities. And as you see, this is a very neat way to remove these blocks. The 7s are removed differently, and we have a 2 created, and that's how they get the 8. And look, this cross with 14s and 11s has been actually utilized, something that I decided not to go for. So this is very interesting. Slightly different end game. Oh, I mean, not slightly. Actually, the end game is completely different here. So while the outcome is the same, the end game is pretty much different. But yeah, so this is interesting that this narrative was really upset by this other solution. Although you could claim that the ideas are pretty much the same. And I think the reason why a perfectionist might have different solutions is because this is, at the end of the day, summation, right? You're summing things, even if you're subtracting, right? You can still think of it as a sum of a positive and a negative number, and therefore you can switch things around a lot. And especially in boards which have a lot of possible combinations, like 14 here, 14 here, 14 here, you might combine this in various different ways. And so this is where I think the variability comes from. Although I'm still wondering if you can somehow stack these solutions or rank them against each other. For example, is the solution that I started with better or worse than the solution that we just watched right now? Is there any way to understand if any given solution is somehow more elegant or less elegant? One of the things that you could think about is maybe if the solution requires you to have more combinations and to switch blocks around more, it's kind of less elegant. But of course, this is arbitrary and it could be a matter of taste. On the other hand, you can argue that if you do match many blocks, that means that the solution is more intricate and therefore maybe more aesthetically pleasing at some times. So, yeah, this is an interesting question, one that I think us perfectionist players have to think about, because ranking these different solutions could be also like a fun part of the game. Anyway, this was the daily board for May 31st, 2020, and keep playing.